Hello, everybody out there. Thanks for joining us. I'm John, and here is Vern from Oakhurst Studios. Woo!
Hey, everybody.
Can you believe it? It's Vern. And I'm going to make sure we're live here just to make sure. I always like to check it.
Always.
Where is it? Where is it going?
I don't know. Maybe it's going to Twitter.
Nope, there it is. It's like we're here.
I have to watch like an advertisement.
Yep.
Yeah. Salacious is there. Hulk smash. See, this is where I got immediately associated with the Hulk because of a couple of short videos I did.
Oh, you want to talk Hulk here? Guess what, Salacious? I got something fun for us here. Vern, you got to have these two, right?
Which one? No, I don't have any of that stuff. I used those are pretty cool though. The smashing hands.
I love them. I found them at a garage sale or something, and I was just like, "Oh, these I have to come home with me."
I had a pair of those that I picked up, I think in like a bulk auction one time, like online, and I think I sold them at a garage sale. So maybe you got them at my garage sale.
Hello there. Oh yeah, they just wandered through this all the way up to Seattle. Hey, an English tribe. How you doing, Englishman? G-Force. Mark is here. Apprentice Ewok's here. And of course, yes, Salacious Rum. So, Vern.
Yes.
I want to get deep into your history here now. So, what was the first stuff that you can remember collecting as a child?
Well, in 1 BC, I used to collect rocks, sticks. No. You know what? It's funny that you say that because, like, I'm listening to everybody when they're talking when we're doing like our stream, or I'm listening, and I hear everybody kind of like throw out their age or age group, and then there's this thing on Twitter somebody did to like get everybody's birth years. Was they said if the Battle of Yavin is year 0 or whatever, and that happened in 1977, what year were you born? And
oh wow.
And I was looking at that post going like, oh, they're 20 after the Battle of Yavin. And I'm thinking to myself, well, no, there's no before the Battle of Yavins, right? And even in my group, I'm like, I think I'm the oldest one, right? It's kind of crazy. I know Salacious will say I'm fishing for a compliment, but that's not what I'm doing. But to get back to your question, and I have them here.
Vern he says you need those Hulk fists so you can punch dude in the podcast when we want him to stop talking.
Right. Okay, so I have a picture very early, and it's like 1974. I think it's my 4th birthday, and I'm holding this Mego Hulk. So
wow.
the things that I remember from being like that little were all of the Mego superheroes, like Batman, Superman, that whole line. I think we had almost all of them. Now, I had 2 brothers, so they weren't all mine. But, yeah, you know, in my mind, they were all mine.
Of course, yeah.
But since this was actually in a picture where they were actually birthday presents, I know for a fact that this Hulk was mine. And I had an Iron Man on that birthday. So
is that the actual one?
This is the actual Hulk.
Wow.
I came home. I was going to school. I took out the trash from the kitchen. He was laying in the trash can. So I think my mom decided like she needed to throw out my toys, so she was throwing them out one at a time. And I luckily was taking the trash out that morning because it was trash day, and I saw him in there, so I was able to save him. But some of the other ones I probably didn't get to save.
Wow.
Some of the other figures were these little plastic Kamen Rider, the Super Sentai figures that my parents would get me because my dad was stationed overseas, so I grew up in Okinawa. So I had a lot of these like vinyl type superheroes like Ultraman, Kamen Rider, the Super Sentai, which is the original Power Rangers. I don't have like pretty much any of those. I think I have like 1 or 2. They're like a little bit bigger. I didn't actually pull them down. But because I had older brothers It was also the 12-inch GI Joes in my house.
Wow.
So this guy's actually a hand-me-down to me. Yeah, this one's an actual 1964 GI Joe. I don't know if this outfit's legit, like if this is the one that he would have been in, but I got this given to me probably in my youth, and I got that yellow helicopter, and so he's always been like kind of like my pilot for that helicopter. And it's the one where you push the button and the propellers turn.
You still got the helicopter?
I still do, but it's like buried behind some stuff on one of my top shelves, so I didn't pull it down. But these boxes are from
cool.
When Walmart did a re-release back in I think the 2000s. I basically just am keeping him in this box, and I have the other one kind of up on a shelf. But so that's really was the beginnings, was like the Mego superheroes, these Japanese vinyl figures, and then the 12-inch GI Joes.
He says that's an Action Man.
Yeah, it's not an Action Man. It actually says GI Joe on it. I wish it said Action Man, because that would actually be pretty cool. Salacious had a picture of a comic the other day on in one of his shorts, and it made me like realize that there's a whole nether world to like collecting. And when Mark there says that's a Action Man, that's what I'm talking about, right? This is a GI Joe to me, but there's an Action Man, you know, that I should be looking for and trying to collect, so I could like have that version in my collection and stuff like that. But this is actually one that I had as a kid, right? So I still do have some stuff. I don't have everything that I had, but I pretty much have almost all of my Star Wars figures, and most of my GI Joes, which I have, like up here.
I have most of my toys from a kid, but that, like I've said before, GI Joe is the one line that's somewhere along, either before I moved to Seattle or during the move, or somewhere in that it disappeared. And I can't remember if it was like if it disappeared as we were growing up, or if they got left behind, like maybe that box got left behind. But I only had like the 82, 83 stuff in the vehicles when I got to Seattle. And I was like, when I was unpacking and stuff, I'm like, where'd all my GI Joes go? And they were just gone. So I don't, but we had everything, every figure all the way up to like 87 or something. So it was amazing. Like, it was a shame that those are all gone. But I've recollected through the years, so I've got a good chunk of them, you know. But you know, but all the big vehicles, I mean, we had the Sky Striker, we had the Night Raven, and we had my brother had the Hydrofoil, the big red boat, and I had the Mauler tank, which I wish I still had. I had the Conquest, the forward sweeping wing jet, you know, and the Rattler. Oh, the Rattler. I'm like so upset because my Rattler was perfect. Every piece was there. It still worked. The wheels and everything were all there. I mean, and it's like, it's such a shame that it's gone, you know?
Yeah. I didn't have many vehicles, right? So a lot of times with my figures, I had to make like a vehicle. So it would be a cardboard box would get like turned into like the bridge of a ship or something like that. Yeah. And do you remember this like game? It was like this, it was like a scoop, but it was like kind of hollow, and you had like a ball and you would throw it like that. Yeah. I had one of those attached to a banana board skateboard, and I had made like chairs and stuff underneath the little dome because you could get through the little slots. And it was like, in my imagination, it was the Arc 2 or whatever. Do you remember that show where they had it was Arc 2. It was like there was a chimpanzee and a team of people, and they used to drive around.
Yes.
So I had made this thing on a
weren't they on
skateboard.
Like another planet, or they would go to other planets or something, right?
Yeah, it was something like they were fixing up the world or something like that.
And they had a rover vehicle that they would drive around in.
Yeah, they would pull it off the back. Yeah, so it was like that was what I would do, I would build these like, I mean, if you looked at it, you were like, what's that little wiffle ball thing going on a skateboard?
Yeah.
But in my mind, I knew what it was, you know, and I had like my cardboard seats built in there and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny.
Oh my gosh.
But I remember seeing the commercials for all of the vehicles, and I remember thinking like, man, one day I'm going to be able to get a vehicle, or I'm going to get that. And once in a while I'd get like a small vehicle, you know, like I think I have that bridge builder tank thing. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I have that. And I think it was because that came to me secondhand or something like that from some friend who was, his parents, they were deploying, and he goes, hey, you want this stuff? Because, you know, there's not enough room for me to pack it. So I ended up with toys.
Paul here is one of my childhood friends, and him and I, we didn't get the bases. So I would get a lot of vehicles, but I never got the big bases. So Paul and I built the G.I. Joe base.
Oh,
we built out of cardboard and stuff. We built a Terradrome. I remember we built a Terradrome when we were trying to make an elevator to like get the ship out of the center, you know, and make that all work. And I think we even built the 3-level, the one that the mobile command center that you could fold out into 3 levels or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah, we would try to build those things out of cardboard, and we'd get plastic parts like a plastic control panel and set it in there, you know, and use toothpicks to stick in and hold the thing up like it was on a console or something, you know.
That's what surprises me, you know, because like you know that like indoor escape, the indoor escape that has like the diorama kind of built behind Luke, Leia, and stuff like that. I'm surprised Hasbro doesn't like just try to release like a backdrop piece, you know what I mean, for people, like made out of some good quality, like laminated cardboard or plastic or something, and just try to sell that stuff off so people can display their figures, you know, like that Tantify for the vintage collection. I mean, for half of a hallway, it was like what, $50-$60 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then to really fill it out, it was like $100. But I mean, honestly, like a nice backdrop for your figures, if you're going to have them on a shelf, would be awesome if they would do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think there's a guy out there who's been selling them that fit the Detolf and fit Billy bookcases and stuff like that. I've seen that stuff online.
Yeah, that stuff's cool. I mean, like that goes right back to you building like a G.I. Joe base and me building my own vehicles, right? It's like you got that imagination and you're just, we can't afford it, but we're going to build it somehow.
Paul's like, we wasted so much tape. But Paul, a quick shout to Paul here. So I was going through, he sent me a 3D printed Toto. Oh, and I'm going through getting ready to do a video of it. And he sent me extra parts. And I just now realized that on the back of the piece of cardboard where he's got extra arms and legs of Toto in case they break off, so I can put those on if the ones that are on there break off. He gave me extras. I flipped the cardboard over and found out that he 3D printed the window wiper blade for the Snowcat, for the G.I. Joe Snowcat, because my Snowcat that's the only piece it's missing is that window wiper. So I just realized like yesterday, it was like literally like just yesterday that I was like, holy crap, here's the window wiper blade. So thanks, Paul.
Paul, send me the 3D file, please. So I can print a Toto.
It took him a while to get that to work because the arms and legs are so thin, and
I can only imagine. Yeah, I was trying to do something in one of these 3D programs on my iPad, but it was like, nah, there's no way I'm not going to be able to do it.
He totally designed it and got it working. It was amazing. Yeah.
I imagine. I mean,
I had to take photos. I had to take photos of the 3 3/4 inch scale one from like front, back, and both sides or whatever, so that he could look at it and then roughly draw it out and scale it up to a 6-inch scale. Who's the best at posing? Pretty good posers out there.
Ninja. Oh, that's a good question. I mean, there's a lot of people taking pictures. I don't know if that's like a serious question or not, but there's a lot of people that take some like fantastic pictures, and you know, but it's the same as like a ninja though. I don't know.
Dude's got some good displays though. The way he does
his
them coming out of
displays
that.
are really nice. You
Yeah.
know, like he spends a lot of time down there, and I wouldn't be so far to me to say he probably like maps out his wall and stuff before going in there.
Mine are turning into yours, where they're all facing straight out. They used to be like guns blazing and shooting each
there's
other,
just too many.
but it got so full that now they're all just standing facing out. They're 2 or 3 deep because I've got too many now.
This used to all be Star Wars, but I wanted to really display these like Shang-Chi figures somewhere. Yeah. And so I moved all of my Imperial guys to the other side of the room, pretty much. Like Vader and all the officers and stuff, just so I could get these Shang-Chi figures out. But they may move to a little bit a different area so I can put those. It sort of looks dysfunctional that it's not all Star Wars. I guess that's the OCD in me, right?
Yeah. Mine don't match all the time either. Not anymore. It used to, but things are getting really crowded in here. So
I actually boxed up a bunch of figures. I have some totes, and I keep my figures in them. These real small, like little totes, and I can put like maybe like 20 figures. So I have like, the thing is I buy a lot of stuff online, like these Goodwill auctions I keep talking about on our right. And you end up with like 10 figures, and like a bunch of the figures you just have. So it's like, I didn't need another Bespin Han Solo, but now I got like 4 of them or whatever. Eventually they're probably going to turn into somebody else, because, you know, I like to like mess around with the figures.
Yeah, you can customize sometimes. Yeah.
And sometimes. And so that's the only reason I keep them around. But one day I'm probably going to have to like set them free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Set them to somebody
I do the same thing. I'll buy job lots off of, you know, I don't often win them for what I consider a good price on Goodwill. I mean, you've been having better luck than me. Maybe you're outwinning what I'm trying to win. You know what I mean? Like, we're going for the same lots, and then I come to a point where I'm like, that's my highest, and then you win it and take off, you know? And but it's like but a lot of my job lots, if it's an extra figure, I don't want to keep it, or if it's something I don't collect, like there's always 1 or 2 figures in the lot that I want, but sometimes the other 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever, I'll just recycle them on eBay and sell them off individually. Yeah, if it's worth it doing it. Or now Mercari, really, because Mercari is better than eBay.
Is that better?
Oh, way better. Yeah. I
used to do that a lot. Like I would do a lot, and then I would keep the ones that I wanted, and then I would resell the rest. I did it with the last big one that I did was I got all these Batman figures from their Play Arts Kai figures.
Yep.
And I only wanted like the one Batman and the one Catwoman, but it came with like I think there were like 15 figures or something like that in there. And I think I spent like $250. And wow. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I spent that much. I was all nervous, you know, my wife's going to kill me and whatever. Right. And then, but I ended up selling them all for about like $35, all the rest of them. So I made a little bit, and I think people got a pretty good deal, because I saw that like most of them were selling for like $60-$70. And to me, it was just about, you know, getting them back out there and not losing any money.
Yeah, right? That's the same thing that I do. Like I just got this some Marvel figures, and I got them for like $7-8 each, and they're selling for $35-$40. So I put them all at like $25. So I'm really undercutting the other guys, just hoping they sell fast. And I got a deal, so I'm passing the deal on to other people, you know?
I mean, that's the somebody, Salacious, show us your Kellerman. Yeah, I got the Kellerman Star Wars book for like not even for the price of like a hardback at the Goodwill store. It was
mine. So that's how much mine was. It was like, I think mine was half price when it was half of the retail original retail. It was half of the original retail is what I got mine for.
So I did show this off like a couple of weeks ago. I bought this. I actually spent a little bit more. But
Oh my god, I would love to have one of those. You don't know how much I want those. Oh my
so
gosh.
I was really
Are
looking
you
for
kidding me?
Mazinga, but like this is actually the exact one that I would have had when I was a kid, right? Because
That's
he doesn't have the shooting arm.
Oh,
So
see, I had the one with the shooting arm.
yeah,
Okay.
I had the one that was like this. It doesn't shoot. The thing is, this piece right here was broken. It was missing. And this, you can see this one has ridges on it. This
Yep.
one doesn't. All I did was I went down to the 99-cent store and I bought one of those plastic Tupperware type things where you can throw your pencils. I cut the side out and then I just cut it, screwed it on.
There's
But I mean,
Matt.
you can't really tell, right?
No, not
Hey,
at
Matt.
all. Yeah.
So I was kind of glad to pick this up. I spent less than I would have if I would have bought it on eBay, but probably a little bit more than you know.
See, in,
I
in
probably
ours,
would
I
have.
don't think we had the Japanese writing on the chest thing there, and I think he
Yeah,
was painted slightly different, wasn't he?
yeah, it was a little bit different, and this arm was a little bit
Yeah.
longer because it had the button to
Yep,
shoot
to
off. But they
shoot them.
still, yeah, I still want to find it. I still got to find the little eagle, and I know they make some repros online, and I think I'm okay with a repro. But then I'm thinking maybe I can 3D print one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember if mine had that shield on it either, or maybe it was broken off or something. I just don't remember that.
Yeah,
On that
mine,
hand, I don't remember that piece.
mine, this thing came off, the sword.
Yeah.
Did you ever see this cartoon?
Is that what is it? What is it? Hold on. Like Die King or Go Die King or something
It's
like that?
it's well, it's like Lydeen, but it's spelled Raydeen, right? Because the R would
Okay.
be pronounced more like an L. So in the cartoon, there's a guy, and he used to jump off a cliff or something, and then he would get sucked into this little piece in the helmet, and he'd fall in there, and he'd be in control of the robot, kind of like that movie that they came out recently.
I think they all released all that stuff with the Shogun Warriors line over here.
Yes.
You know, and that's kind of how I knew them. But I knew that for us, what they were telling us was Shogun Warriors was a mix of 2 or 3 different giant robot things.
Yes.
That were kind of stuffed together, you know.
Just to spell those big.
I remember one of the giant robot ones that I found as a kid was that Die King or Go Die King or something like that, like DAIKIN.
Oh, okay, I think
you know what I mean.
I feel like that's the red one, and he's got multiple things coming off of his head.
Yeah. Could
but
be.
There were so the other one that I had, I had like 5 of them, but the other one that I would be looking for is Mazinga. And he's the one, he has like a spaceship that lands in his helmet, and he's got like a crown kind of like on top.
Oh, cool.
And he used to have like a hand that would shoot these like 3 missiles. It was like super cool. And then of course I saw your video where the Godzilla is sitting in the store, but I would never pay that much for it. So.
I know, right? We had that Godzilla as a kid, and that's why I want him again. But
right,
I'm just hoping to find him
cheap.
You know, I'm still a little bit upset at my ex-boss because she has one in her attic, and every year we go over to her house for a Halloween party. And for 17 years working at the company with her, she would taunt me every year by bringing down this Godzilla, and she still had it in the box and everything. And when I left, when I quit the job and when I was done and I was moving out from Seattle to here, I was begging her. I was like, come on, it's the perfect go away gift. You know what I mean? Like, we've spent the last 17 years of our lives together. This is like the perfect going away gift. You've got to, I'll buy it. I was like, I'll give you cash for it, you know, like, so it's not even really a gift, you know. She would not let it part because it was her childhood toy. So I can understand it. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't want to get rid of your childhood toy. And it was one of the few things that she still had from her childhood. So. But it was just funny that she knew I wanted it so much, and she'd always taunt me with it. Look what I got again. You can play with it today, but after today, it's going back in the attic. You know?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. G4 says he had the Shogun with the red boomerang on his chest, and he shot the 3 missiles. Yeah, that guy was so cool. That Mazinga was really cool. He had like extra missiles on his legs. and you can like load them up. Yeah, it was really cool.
A couple of them had the chest missile though too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was a.
I remember
go
that.
ahead. I had one that used to fold down into kind of like a car. So he had a thing in his back that held like this little box that had 4 wheels and a little nub, and you'd take it out and you'd stick it in his stomach, and then the feet would bend and he would just go like that, and he would look like he was like a rolling tank. So you could roll him around and stuff like that.
Interesting.
I did like that one.
Huh. You would get along great with my friend Rob in Seattle. I mean, he's got the similar story. His father was in the military, and he grew up over in like Okinawa and various bases over there, and he's got all of these Japanese robots from living over there as a kid, you know, and he still has them, and he's got all the Transformers in their like Machine Robo or Micro Change or Diaclone. And that's where I got a lot of my knowledge from, like the Japanese versions of Transformers, is going over to Rob's and cleaning out his closet, organizing his closet with him, going, oh, you got, oh, look what this is. Oh my gosh, you actually have this, you know, and, and he's got, he's got everything, even like Fortress Maximus, but in the alternate colors that are, you know, and it's just like, everything. It's just amazing, and they're all in the boxes. He kept all the boxes. I don't know why.
You know, I don't know. It's just like, it's a different thought process, right? Like, I never kept that stuff, but I had friends that like kept them, and I had one friend. He used to keep all his card backs, but he would keep them in like, you know, pull the bubble off, and he would like stick them in, you know, the little plastic thing that you would put your reports.
Oh,
and he had these like notebooks of them, and I'm just imagining, man, if he still had those today.
Yeah. The only thing I kept was I cut out the file card for the GI Joes, and that was the only thing. And then I kept my instructions on a lot of things. I've got various instructions really for stuff, you know. But there's not a whole lot that I didn't keep the boxes from when I was a kid. No.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, you're right. I do have friends that did. I mean, even Paul, that in the chat here, he kept a lot of his boxes and stuff. Yeah.
Smart. Even today though, like I still didn't learn because all my boxes go away. I mean, I do this now. I do that where like I haven't opened this yet, but I'll cut this piece and the back off, and I'll keep just that.
Yeah.
And the rest of it will just go in the landfill. See,
I keep all my Star Wars. I keep every carded figure. If I cut the bubble off, I usually just cut around it so I'm not affecting the image, you know. And then so anything that's perfectly flat, I will keep. So I've got everything the card back for. But boxes, I only keep Star Wars and key Transformers. So I'll always keep Megatron. I'll always keep Soundwave, Starscream, Optimus Prime. But when you start getting into some of the other characters, that box gets ditched, you know.
Yeah.
But and with Marvel Legends, it's like if it's an exclusive, I'll keep the box. But otherwise, Marvel Legends and Power Rangers and McFarlane, like those boxes all get thrown away. And it's more of a it's I would keep them all if I had room to store them.
That's
the problem is I have to really choose carefully on what boxes I keep, because there's already not enough room in this condo. Like I spent most of the day today. I've totally rearranged the living room, and my dad left for a few days. Him and my brother are doing some stuff with my brother's medical treatment for his cancer. They got to check to make sure his cancer's not coming back.
Right.
No, so they're over in Tampa for a few days, and so I was like, perfect. Everyone's out of my hair. There's nobody else here. I can tear the whole place apart and rearrange. And I can't believe how much space I've made out there. It looks incredible. And now it's like
until you bring home your next.
Well, no, next week it's a trip to IKEA to buy 2 or 3 more Detolfs, at least 2 Detolfs, maybe even as many as 4. and then a couple Billy bookcases just to have some open ones. And yeah, it's just gonna get, that's all going out there, and then we're gonna start unpacking because there's that whole closet back there was supposed to be another display area, and now it's full up to my waist with boxes. So there's probably 20 boxes in there. I've got a walk-in closet outside this door that has like floor to 12-foot ceiling full of boxes, and it goes back like 8 feet, and it's probably like 4 or 5 feet wide. So a lot of stuff in there can go on display, and then there's already 2 stacks of boxes in the living room that can't go on display. So it's like I'm getting overwhelmed with boxes. There's nowhere to put them. We're out of space. So
running out of room.
I've like decided I got to take over the whole condo and put everything on display, and then those boxes can get broken down and stored for future use, because eventually I will get more.
Totally get it. Yeah. I will say the exception that I made is I'm not keeping the plastic, but I'm actually keeping the boxes for the G.I. Joe Classified series.
Yeah, me too. You're right. Yep, me too. I've been doing that. You're right.
I have kept those just because I'm not sure if I'm going to be sticking with that line or not. And so far, yeah, but like we'll see how it goes. I mean, I was really disappointed I never got that Cobra Trooper from the Target exclusive. But,
yeah, me either.
Yeah. And then I ended up canceling that Cobra Supreme Commander, and I also had pre-ordered that Royal Blue one. And now, like that they came out with that Infantry Trooper, I'm like wishing I didn't cancel those other ones.
Yeah.
So now that I don't have those in my collection, I'm like, well, I'll never have them complete because I'm not going to pay aftermarket prices.
Yeah.
When they're too exorbitant. Yeah, that's the one.
The cape looks so beautiful.
He looks so awesome. I wish I had not canceled that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well.
I still don't have that version of the Cobra Trooper. I don't have, and I don't have Firefly. I never got a Firefly.
Oh my gosh.
And I can't. You don't know how much that bothers me. And they haven't re-released them. I'm like, I thought for sure they would reissue them on a regular, with a different paint app or something.
They put them on Pulse for like 5 minutes.
I missed that too. Yeah, I missed that too. So
I got the email at a quarter after, and then when I went and checked, it was already sold out. So I guess people who knew at 9 a.m. were able to get them. But I did get a Firefly. But
yeah, I saw that you got one. Yeah, I've seen your animations with them. But I have an original. I have an original Firefly. So
Yeah, I don't think I have that one. I didn't have, and I was looking for Major Blood too, and I was like, I think I must have him somewhere, but I bet he's in multiple pieces.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, right. Because I have a bunch in like a bag where it's like the arms and legs, and the rubber band had broke it, and I put it away, and I haven't got to him yet to kind of repair him, but he's probably tucked away.
I've got I was just going through them the other day because I got a new new box that sort of unfolds and has various cool storage things, and I was going through, and it ended up being, because I've got like 4 lunch boxes full of parts, a little tin, like an Empire Strikes Back tin that opens from the top. It's almost like an oval egg-shaped thing or something, and then a few other little like metal tin bins and things that are just full of random parts. And I was like, I thought I would do a YouTube live stream and organize all this stuff. But once I pulled it all out, I'm like, this is going to take me like a day and a half to organize. So it's not worth doing a live stream because it's going to go on for eons, So I just sat down and did it one day. And the new bin I got only fit all the Star Wars and G.I. Joe stuff.
Oh no!
Everything else ended up having to get dumped back into these various lunch boxes and things, and I need another bin. And I'm like, and I realized I probably need like 4 or 5 of those bins because they do keep everything really well organized. It's easier to find when I need a weapon. You know what I mean? Now I can go right in, stormtrooper blasters are all in this little slot, rebel blasters are all in this slot, so I can quickly go in and get long rifles are here, rifles with straps are there, and it was like, but I was going through all the pieces. The point is, I found a bunch of arms and legs and heads, and and I was like putting them all in these little slots to organize them and seeing if I had any full figures, but I don't. It's like I got Quick Kick's legs, I got Hooded Cobra Commander's body and arms, and so it's like there was no full figures, but it's worth keeping the parts because you never know when you're getting job lot or something, and you've got, oh, now I have Quick Kick's arms and legs. Okay, I can start putting Quick Kick back together. Yeah. So it's worth hanging on to certain pieces.
Now, I did want to complete a couple, so I took apart some of those lanyard figures and reused some of the butt pieces or whatever to put some together, but the colors aren't perfect. So if you look closely at a few of mine, you'll see that, like, oh, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. That's not his molded belt.
How you doing, Paul? Yeah, well, you could always say it's the mail-away version, right? Because a lot of those mail-away versions had different waists or a different leg or something, Yeah. So, Vern, let's go into another area of collecting. So I know that you have, when you were a kid, you also got some comic books. And I want to start out by showing a couple of my favorites here.
Okay.
And these are actual ones I've had since I was a kid. This is one of the actual very first comic books that I personally bought as a child.
Nice.
And I still own it to this day. Godzilla.
Wow, look at that.
#1.
Oh, man.
And it's torn up from me reading it. If you could see it in person, you would see etched lines around Godzilla because I put tracing paper over this, and then I would trace Godzilla onto the tracing paper.
Oh, yeah.
And that was how I learned how to draw, was
nice.
Copying them and stuff. And man, I loved this comic so much. This was like the coolest thing. I mean, look at some of this Godzilla artwork and stuff. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so awesome.
Yeah, that is actually really cool. I had actually never seen that Godzilla comic.
And one of my favorite covers, I pulled this one out because it's one of my favorite covers of all time. But it's my favorite Godzilla cover too. Is look at him battling this giant dragon bat creature thing.
Phenomenal.
I mean, it's like,
how have I never seen these comics?
It's so awesome, But I mean, like, could you imagine as like a 4 or 5 year old kid walking into the thing and you're just like, holy
awesome.
crap, this is the coolest thing ever.
That's awesome.
Like, and this is also one, like, this is funny because I was going into the box to pull these out, and I have 4 or 5, there's 4 complete sets and almost a 5th because there was 34 issues of this first Godzilla series. And I've got mint perfect ones of them, but I've still got the ones that I bought with my money as a kid. And we lived in Irondequoit, New York, basically down the road from a comic book store and the great house of guitars. So my mom would walk me down the street and we would go to the house of guitars and look at the guitars and the music and see whatever band showed up to sign autographs. And then we would walk next door to the comic store and get these comics. Like I'd get Godzilla, Devil Dinosaur. I love Devil Dinosaur. And, and eventually I grew into getting Spider-Man and stuff like that, X-Men, Avengers.
Sure.
It's like, but my love started with the monsters, Godzilla, Devil Dinosaur, stuff like that. And
that's super cool, man.
Yeah.
But I was telling you ahead of time, right? Like my dad, because of being in the Air Force, he worked on jet engines or airplane engines. So his part-time job was working for airlines. And he used to bring home comics that were left on the plane when they would like clear out planes. And I inherited some of those. So this is, I think, one of my oldest comics. It's a Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's an awesome one.
It's pretty beat up. And the thing is, if you're only familiar with the cinematic universe, you would say, who is that guy? But that's actually Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And the thing is that caught my eye about like these comics when I was actually getting ready to read them, right? Is like, I mean, look at the concepts in this. This is
Oh
where
yeah,
is it? The flying car, right?
yeah.
I mean, some of this stuff is really cool, and then the colorations that they did, like the stuff they would do here. I mean, this is all like,
Oh yeah.
with the different colors. I mean, this is actually really cool. This is the kind of stuff that really got me into wanting to read comics. So I was and also because of these comics would come home, it would immediately be like Spider-Man, right? This
Yep.
looks really shiny. It's because this was like one of my favorite comics as a kid, and I taped it up so it would never get ruined. But
I have that
apparently,
exact comic. I have that one. I remember. I have that cover with Deathlock. Yeah.
but apparently,
cool.
putting Scotch tape on here actually ruins it.
No, but hey, I mean, you still got it
Spider-Man,
though. You know.
Deathlock, right?
Yeah.
And so,
I
talking
loved
about
those
comics.
team up comics. I love those team up comics.
So the
when I
one
was a
that,
kid.
so this is actually, I think, was the last one, right? Spider-Man and the
Yep.
X-Men.
Yep.
So this one is this is full on to when I was actually collecting for myself and going down there and buying comics. This had been around that time, right? But like this would have been like one that would have been brought home for me.
Oh, Yellow Jacket and Wasp, cool.
Yeah. And then I mean, I just took out a few Avengers, right? And one of them's like this cover because it's.
Oh yeah, that was a
right?
good one. Yeah.
Right. We've seen that in the movie.
Ant-Man. He's gonna shoot Ant-Man. Yeah.
This is the Black Knight.
The
right?
Black Knight. Yep. Cool.
And then there's one. Oh, this is where I guess Spider-Man tells them he wants to be an Avenger.
Yep. That one's in the pile out there. I was just looking. I was putting it in a bag because I was sorting comics, and that's funny. That's out there. That's great.
But it's interesting that we're looking at all these Marvel comics, right? And to think that like my first comics were more DC because it seemed like a lot of people were into the Justice League. So I have a lot of Justice League. I didn't take them out. Most of them don't have covers anymore. And then because they're so old, and then the Superman back in the 70s, right? But since we're talking about comics, I'm just going to throw it out there. This era of comics for this Green Lantern, Green Arrow team ups. This is Neil Adams and Dick Goriando, right? This time period when they did this storyline. This is actually my favorite comic storyline. Not necessarily this book, but this whole series where Green Arrow and Green Lantern are teamed up, and there's all this social injustice and
you're right,
inner city, big city, rich versus poor, poverty. There's a whole huge story there.
They did. That's right. They had a lot of social commentary.
Yeah.
And in that, because of the juxtaposition between the two different characters and where they came from and stuff. Yeah. I remember that. And yeah, that's right.
So like, I mean, and the artwork in these to me is just phenomenal, right? Like, I mean, look at the faces in here.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Neil Adams, and these guys, they were, to me, this is actually my favorite. And I was so disappointed in that Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern.
I know, yeah.
And I keep thinking, like, why do we need an origin story, right? Like for a movie. And
I keep
why
thinking
didn't
that
they
now too? Yeah.
Why don't they just make, let's say, this story or something with Hal Jordan Green Lantern, Oliver Queen, and it's right in the middle of them having their social dispute or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And then you just allude to what their origins were, but you just pick up like in the middle. You don't need that origin story. The characters already exist. You don't have to build that. You could always go back and do that later in like a sub story or a sub
or even a little bit at a time. Like if if the stories are well written and they're good enough to get 3 or 4 films out of that character, you could do like a tiny bit in each, like a flashback in each movie, and just sort of hit on a major point of when they were, that could relate to the film that you set up or something. Yeah, but I agree. Like, especially with characters that are already in film, like Superman, Batman, Spider-Man. We don't need origin films anymore.
I don't need to know that Peter was bit by a spider anymore.
Yeah, we don't need to see that stuff.
But like, honestly, like this was like a story arc. I think it was like, maybe, I want to say it was like 10 issues. I don't really remember. It's been a long time since I read it, but when I was reading it, that was like, that's what really made me say, oh, I'm going to be looking at these other books. I'm going to be looking at these other storylines. But they could like tell almost that whole story over a period of movies.
Yeah.
In a way.
Or that might make a great series on a streaming service, because it could really get in depth with some of that stuff.
That would, that would be awesome to me. Right.
But it is a shame, because I look at stuff for DC, and I know a lot of this stuff has been done in the animated series, the animated movies for DC, or at least they were starting on it. It seems like lately they keep doing Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman stuff. Even if it's a Justice League movie, it's got Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman in it. But like, they're not doing, like, they did like Flashpoint with the Flash, but they never really get into like the Green Lantern stuff. Like, they could totally do Blackest Night and Brightest Day and all that stuff. And
Mark just had
like
that in there.
Mark was saying Blackest Night here. Yeah. There's some brilliant stories that were done that for whatever reason DC just shies away from, and they try to stick to those main characters. I mean, I guess they did the Ray, they did that one with Constantine and his group of Dark Avengers or Dark Justice, whatever it was, Justice League Dark, and where it was the demon. And
if you look at what Marvel did, right? They took the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
And oh man, that's probably one of the best movies in the first 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, they were obscure until that movie came out.
Oh yeah.
In my mind. You know what I mean?
And that wasn't the original Guardians team either. It's like they kind of picked, and I don't even know if they were a Guardians team before Guardians. I think they pick and chose characters from obscure books and different things, and a couple of them I think, because Groot was a Guardian at one point, I think, and Rocket, but I'm not sure if Star-Lord was. I think Star-Lord was in a different thing, right?
Right. I mean,
but they just grabbed those characters and said, these are going to be our cinematic Guardians of the Galaxy, and then they became the comic book versions
right.
But it was like, all those characters you never would have expected to turn into what they've turned into. Yeah.
I mean, like, so in Iron Man, right? You were Invincible Iron Man too. Yep. This is Tony Stark hitting rock bottom with the alcoholism, which they kind of touched on, but not really, right?
No, not really.
But those could have been really gritty, like, stories, right?
That was like a shocker when that stuff came out. I mean, it was is that what's his name? Damn it! I just had it on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot it already. His name, the artist there, the writer there.
Oh,
but anyways,
hold on.
When that stuff came out, I just remember people talking about, like, oh my gosh, this is like
Denny
Tony
O'Neil.
Stark drinking and everything. It was like,
yeah, Denny O'Neil.
There you go. Yep.
And then it pinnacles to, Rhodes and Stark having a fight.
Yeah.
This is like one of my favorite books. It's like there's not a whole lot in here, but the fact that, like, Stark has to use this really old armor to defeat Jim Rhodes in the newest, greatest armor, I thought was like a fantastic way to tell, like, the story, right, of that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stuff in the comics that doesn't get, like, kind of used or gets sort of glazed over, but it's interesting to me, especially, like, if you're reading it and then you're watching it and you could see those odes to, like, what they were trying to do. And But I do like the way that the direction that Marvel went. And DC could do exactly the same thing. They don't need Superman, the Flash, or Wonder Woman, or Batman. They can go into some of these other characters that we haven't really seen and kind of flesh them out.
Yeah,
and I think
I
it would be
agree.
really awesome, right?
Yep. Even the giant starfish with like 5 eyes, they could really,
I mean, can you imagine, like, okay, a Nick Fury Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. movie, but it's like Mission Impossible?
Oh, I know. That would be fantastic.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be the way to do it. I mean that's probably what Black Widow is going to be, right? Is kind of like that sort of story. But I mean, totally. I mean, they're not superheroes. They're just agents. They have access to like a whole bunch of equipment. They could have done a whole different slew of stuff with that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, right? But I mean,
hey, Vader's girl, how you doing, Kat?
Hey.
Everyone's saying hi to each other. Just want to make sure I don't miss a chat if there's something good going on. It's really cool that you've kept a lot of those comics. That's amazing. And I just, me, I love my Marvel comics especially. And I agree that DC, I mean, there's so much potential there with a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, even within some of those core characters, because some of my favorite comic books were when they would do like the Superman, Batman together, and they would in that's like there was a Superman, Batman run that went through the 2000s where it was Batman telling a narration on one page, and then Superman on the other page with looking at the same problem. And you can see how, you can see how Batman is like cold, collective. He almost looks at things you almost read it as if he's looking at it in a negative light, but he's really looking at it in I'm preparing for the worst case scenario sort of thing, where that's not necessarily negative. You know what I'm saying? It's like Batman's perspective on things is always be prepared, so think of what could possibly go wrong and try to prepare for those situations. And that's the way you would read his side of the story. And then when you read Superman's side, it was all peachy keen and like, oh, this is going to work out just fine. It's, in fact, in the end, we might even be able to turn him over to be good. We'll make him see the error of his ways. You know what I mean? And it's like, so it was always cool reading those two perspectives, and then they would have to come together and solve the problem by the end of the comic or the end of the 4 or 5 issue arc or whatever they were doing. And I know they did a couple of Superman, Batman movies in the DC animated films, and those were good too. I mean, there were some really good ones in that. Public Enemies is just fantastic. And if you haven't seen it, I recommend checking that one out. But I'd like to see some of that kind of stuff in live action, and
I
again,
totally agree.
Today with streaming, it doesn't necessarily have to be on a big film, on the big screen. And that's the other thing I think DC is doing wrong is they do shows like this new Lois and Clark one, and they do Gotham and this new like Gotham PD that's coming out or whatever, where it's in the Batman universe or it's in the Superman universe, but it's not necessarily about Superman or not necessarily about Batman. And they have this fear of putting their A-listers on what they consider a television show. And that's been going all the way back to Smallville. I mean, they never let him get in the Superman suit in Smallville.
Wait, did they not let him, or did he not want to wear the suit? Because I keep hearing two different things.
And then in Gotham, they sort of got around it, but they didn't quite. I mean, he was wearing like a cap and this weird cape, but it was like, they never quite put him in the bat suit in Gotham. And it's like, just get over that and do it. Put them in the suit and just have like a weekly villain that they're dealing with. I don't understand why they're so scared of using their A-list guys in a television show, because there's so much you could explore with these characters if you did that. Even Green Lantern, like you're saying, you could do the Green Lantern, Green Arrow television show, and it would work out great on a streaming service, and
I honestly thought Green Lantern was coming in at the end of Arrow, and they were going to spin it off into a Green Lantern, Green Arrow.
Exactly right. Yeah, that would have
totally
worked perfectly.
When they said, "Hey, it's coming to an end," I totally thought, oh, okay, it's a trick because they're going to spin it into a dual show, and they didn't do it. They're to build the Tricentennial, because if here's how I am: if I don't have all the pieces, I will then use those pieces for something else. But if I can build the figure, then I would build the figure.
Do you have them all right now?
I don't, but G4 said that I could have all the ones that he has.
I've got a leg and a body.
I think I just was able to get like one figure out of the wave, and I was like, well, that'll never get built. And then he offered up his pieces, and I was like, yeah, I'll build it if I can. But
well, I'm sending Papa Gord one of the pieces for Hyde, but I've got the body and one leg for the Tri-Sentinel. But
I showed this the other day. I'm not happy with the Game Reverse Hulk, but I am happy with Game Reverse Mr. Hyde.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's the one. I'm sending him a leg, I think. So to Papa. I still got to get it in the mail, though. I've been a bad friend. I've been a bad friend, and I haven't got to the post for him yet. But it's still coming, Papa Gord, if you're listening. I will get it in the mail at some point. Oh, I mean, yeah, Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Bob Kane. I mean, Stan Lee. Yeah, jeez. I collect all mainstream Marvel, and so it's kind of like I'm into everything.
When you say,
like I've got all
figures.
I mean, comics. He was saying like artists Jack Kirby, Steve Ditko, Bob Kane. Are there any writers or artists that you specifically follow?
So here's Mr. Hyde, right?
Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Yeah. Wow.
And the Spectacular Spider-Man. So this is one of my I have this signed by Jim Lee.
Yep.
And
that's cool. Havoc.
Yeah, so it's not that I follow him or anything, but like as an Asian American, right? Like having Jim Lee come in and do X-Men, which is something that I was already collecting. To me, that was kind of a big deal.
And he blew it away. I mean, people were just going nuts when his stuff appeared on the scene. It was like, who is this guy? Where'd he come from? Like this is brilliant artwork. Yeah.
Salacious wants to know, how many figures do you have that don't have their original head on them? Well, I tell you what, you know what? Okay, I'll show you my favorite head swaps right now, and they both have pretty much the same version of the same head.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so first of all, 3 figures, just to answer that question. This is a head swap.
Oh, yep. He looks familiar.
I know, right? I don't know who that is.
Who that could be? Yeah, I don't know
who it is, but he looks pretty cool. And here are the other 2, and I have these heads, Thors, but I can't.
Yeah,
I don't have any of the Build-A-Figure parts for this Thor, so I'm just using the heads on different figures, and it's kind of a tie for me which one I like best.
I love that Destro, though. That's cool.
So it's kind of like a face-off,
cool.
right?
Yeah. Now, did you paint those glasses gold, or did they actually come that way?
So these are actually Prophet Destro's glasses.
Oh, okay. They just popped on. Okay.
Yeah. So they come off, and I just took them and shoved them under his hair so that they would be on him. Yeah. And because this head didn't come with the glasses, this head came with glasses. So originally I had this head on this body, but then I was like, wait a minute, this guy's got glasses. So I swapped the 2 heads and stuck the glasses on. But these are like my 2 favorite head swaps right now.
You love that Thor trooper. Yeah. Smuggler's Canyon's like, he's not so sure about the head on that Boba Fett. Come on.
What? You know what? The funny thing is like, I don't have like so the new iPhone or whatever has that LiDAR technology. So when you're doing a 3D scan, it gets pretty clear. But I was using this really cheesy 3D printing program that you can just do a face scan with the front-facing camera. So it wasn't super clear, and of course, my paint job is not that great either.
Well, it looked enough like you to make me know it was you. So you did a good job, in my opinion. You know.
Well, so eventually, what'll end up happening is I'll end up getting a better face scan, and I'll redo it, and then I'll just have a better head on here.
Yep.
Yeah. But or I'll just put the original head back on. I think the reason I did this was because I was taking the helmet and I destroyed the helmet. So I was like, what am I going to do with this figure? And then I had these little heads printed out of me, so I just painted one up and stuck it on there.
Oh, but you popped the helmet off of when it was like the unpainted face was inside, right? Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So
and you ended up ruining the helmet when you popped it off.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. So they put so much glue inside that if you don't get it perfectly, it won't pop off right, and it ended up tearing the actual helmet.
Oh wow!
So, yeah. Because it's a combination of like heating it up with a blow dryer and trying to get a little spatula in there and stuff like that, and you're like slowly working it, and then eventually, like sometimes the spatula just like breaks through the
Boba VERNs.
That's the downside to trying to customize figures, is sometimes you like completely destroy them.
But you can always keep that helmet because you might be able to use it for something. You never know.
Yeah,
you know?
like throw it on the ground.
A blaster hole in the side of the head or something, you know?
Well, I thought about like printing out like a skeleton head or like a zombie head and sticking it underneath and then making it look like it's cracked, like zombie head coming off. So I thought about doing that.
So do you have any like favorites? Like I know we were talking about this before, and I thought I'd bring it up. Like, there's a million Iron Mans, there's a million Hulk figures. There's certain characters that they seem to make like a million figures of, and we get one in like there's 1,000 Captain Americas and stuff. You know, it seems like every other wave we get a new one. So, are there any of your favorites of those? Like, say, a favorite Iron Man or a favorite Hulk figure?
Sure.
Or do you have a favorite Wolverine handy, maybe, or something?
I actually got one of those handy too. So this is actually my favorite Iron Man.
Mine is very similar, but mine is the gold and red, where you like the yellow. Yeah.
So what ended up happening was this classic Iron Man, I think, is the one that's the take back to when I was a kid, and the Mego Iron Man.
Yeah.
And it was this one until this one came out, because this one has this yellow paint on it, which is a total take back to that original Mego.
And the really nice blue in the circle too.
Yeah.
It's like a light blue in the circle. So yeah.
So I know this comes with that see-through Tony Stark head, but this figure will probably never wear that head, because
that's exactly what I did with mine too. Is I put that head on, and he's going in my he's going to end up going in my Iron Man display, you know, as the alternate version.
So for the Hulk, I'll tell you the Hulk. A couple of years ago at Comic-Con, they released this one. It was an 80th anniversary card.
Yep.
And this is I got this one because of my Mego Hulk, which this is the one that I had when I was a kid. And this was my favorite Hulk until I was able to get the Wolverine Hulk.
Yeah. That's what I like.
This Hulk.
I love this one with the shirt, man. Oh my gosh.
And it is totally, to me, like the hair and the head on this one, because if you look at the comparison between these two, one's got like a really short crew cut, one's got like the regular hair. So this is actually, to me, like the Hulk you would have had in the comics.
Yeah.
The Hulk I would have had on the Mego, right? If I look at the Mego, you could see it's got the same kind of grin.
It does. You're right. Hair. Yeah.
So I only wish this one was a little bit darker green. Like if it was as dark as this one, right?
I don't know. I just love him. I love the colors. Yeah. I love everything about him. And I love that he can like hang on to the torn shirt like he ripped it off him. If you want to put it down by the side. You know, it's just and his muscles. The muscles are just rippling everywhere. I mean, this is like Hulk, you know.
Yeah, that Comic-Con one didn't come with extra hands. So
Oh,
it has
it's
one open
really,
hand and one fist. But this guy comes with two
yeah,
open hands and two fists.
yeah,
So right there, I mean, it's a way better figure just because of the functionality of it.
yeah.
So this has always been like my
Oh,
favorite
that's a good one.
Wolverine,
Yeah.
right? In this outfit. And the thing is like I was never able to find that one, but I know this is the House of X and it's not exactly the same Wolverine,
But
but
it's
because the
close.
outfit
Yeah.
is so similar, this is actually my favorite Wolverine.
And those
figure.
claws are beautiful on that one.
Yeah, this actual figure, these claws are way better than any of the other Wolverines, like especially this one. You can
Oh
see
yeah,
like
they are. Yeah.
the claws are just way better. They're
Yeah.
made better, and that's why they just show almost near perfect
Oh, they
for
do. Yeah.
plastic.
And when you look at it compared to the comics and the way that he's scratching through the cover of that comic, that's how the claws look, like you've got them in
Yeah,
that figure, you know?
I mean, to
It's
me,
just yeah,
yeah,
it's
that's
just brilliant.
so. This is,
He
and
wa-
that's
he was
really
he was that one was almost my pick for the favorite Wolverine, but I had to go with the Bone Claw
okay.
for right
Oh, that's
now
actually really cool.
with the he's got the hood down, you know.
Is that a Legends?
Yeah, it was I don't it was a few waves back. I don't remember which.
Oh, I must have missed
Or
that
was
one.
he in a
Darn it.
2-pack? He could have been in a 2-pack with somebody else too. I don't but yeah, when I saw this one I had to get it. I was like, this is cool.
That is actually really neat. Do you happen to have that 2-pack with the Phoenix and the Cyclops?
Yes, yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've been looking for that
They're open over there though.
as at a reasonable price. I could not find it anywhere. I ended up having to paint my own Cyclops just to
Oh
get
wow.
that
Yeah.
look. It's not perfect, but I mean it's as close as I'm going to get to not having to pay like $100 for one figure,
That
right?
actually you did a good job on it, yeah.
But this version of Cyclops would be like my favorite.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the one with the yellow harness on though. I do. But
Oh yeah.
This Wolverine takes the cake though.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
This
Those
Toy
were
Biz
yeah.
Toy Biz 12-inch with the cloth outfit. I mean, this is all cloth and rubber boots that come off. He's basically like a Barbie doll with the clothing. I mean, it's velcroed on back here.
Yeah,
See?
there was a line that came out of superheroes. Do you remember? It was I want to say maybe late 90s or mid 90s, but they weren't like 12-inch. They were more like 8-inch, like the Mego style, and they came in like this rectangular cardboard box, and they had the different characters in them. Do you ever remember those? I don't have any, but I used to have a Captain America, and the thing I hated about him was his mouth was like this all the time. And like it
I
was
can't
yelling, and it was
recall.
just
I don't
weird.
think I have any of those, and I can't recall them at the moment. Like, is that a Target exclusive? What a Target exclusive? The Hulk or the Wolverine? I don't know.
Vader's girl says her kiddo ran and got his Hulk. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Hulking up.
So
Yellow,
there was a
blue.
Target exclusive Hulk. It was this one. It was the Red Hulk. Was a Target exclusive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one's actually kind of cool too. And but I do have that gray Hulk, and I have to say I do like the gray Hulk. Well, let me pull him out since I'm talking about him.
Is he down there? Yeah, there you go. That's cool. Yeah. Oh, and he's got a torn shirt also. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Hulk's got his own shelf here.
Yeah. And of course, you've got to have this guy down there, right?
I don't have any of those. No.
No, you don't have the leader?
No.
He's awesome.
I don't
When
have
I
him.
saw this with the orange and yellow, I was like, oh, I got to have this guy. He's so cool. Oh
Yeah, the thing
man.
is like
He's
I'm
still one of
so
my favorite villains in the toy line. I just love this for some reason.
he looks awesome, and I love the head on him.
The cheesy orange and yellow and
Yeah.
the giant green head.
But my problem is I'm so invested in Star Wars Black Series that I pass on a whole lot of like Legends because I know that like I'm going to end up with like a lot where I'm going to end up like I picked this guy up. This is a regular size 6 inch. It's not gigantic. It's not the big one. I'm just holding it really close to the camera.
Yeah.
But I picked him up in a lot with a whole bunch of different figures for, you know, like $25 or something like that. There were like 10 figures in there. So I got like 10 Marvel Legends figures for like $25 or whatever it was. And so that's what will end up happening.
Boba VERN was a Target exclusive. That's what he's
Oh,
saying.
it could be.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if I went and put this back in the package and returned it?
Yeah, that'd be funny. Someone's
You know how you see
trying
those
to buy
pictures
that guy. Yeah.
where you seen pictures of people with their with some weird figure in the package? Have you seen those pictures?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There was one I ran into the other day that has it's that yellow Iron Man, the one with the glowing the hologram Tony Stark head. And
Okay.
someone
Yeah.
had put like a Iron Man from the MCU movie in the package, and it's sitting on the shelf. Like they must have returned it, and it's sitting on the shelf, you know. And I'm just like, oh, you know, that was a return. You know, that was they carefully opened it and taped it shut and stuck this other guy in it.
So I'm going to show these figures. These are kind of like some of the first ones that I started modifying, like in the last, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years when I started doing like crafty stuff again, or what I would call it crafty stuff. So I did this thing where I butchered some of these mid-90s G.I. Joes.
Wow.
This is supposed to be Rick from The Walking Dead.
Walking Dead, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And then this is supposed to be Daryl.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can see like my
nice
sewing's not fantastic. And then
oh, there you go.
Governor.
Oh, he looks good. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like a mix and match of like different stuff. Some of these aren't complete G.I. Joe outfits and stuff like that, but I was really, when The Walking Dead came out, I really wanted to have Walking Dead figures. So I parted up a bunch of my G.I. Joes for Walking Dead figures. I got more, but I did a lot of them, but like these are the ones that I'm most proud of, I guess, right? The rest of them are kind of,
yeah,
couldn't really make the outfits for
well, there's a lot you can do with both with those G.I. Joe and like with Mego, like you were saying, with the Mego stuff. Like it seems like those are all easily customizable.
Yes. The Megos were super easy because the heads just pop off and pop on, and you can do a million things with them, and head swap, and making costumes and stuff like that. You know, if you want to poke your finger a few times, you can sew up outfits for them. It's not that hard, and you don't use that much fabric. But so I actually
have a little tiny sewing. It's almost handheld, but it's like a little powered sewing machine that
I know what you're talking about.
I made a cape with it for a 6-inch Star Wars as a test to see if I could do it. Yeah, I'm not that good at it yet, but I'm working on it. You know. But speaking of Mego, Marty's coming to one of the local one of the vintage toy shops.
Is he really? Oh, that's pretty cool.
On June 5th, and I'm gonna go down there, and I have to decide which Mego figure to get signed though. I don't know.
Oh my gosh,
I've still got.
Do you have any originals?
No, I don't have any originals in the packaging. I've still got some Star Trek in the packaging. I've got the Stan Lee one in the packaging. But I was actually thinking, because the shop has a whole wall of Mego, and they've got like Superman, Batman, the Riddler, Wonder Woman, the Flash. And I was actually thinking I might just buy one of the either Batman or Superman. Probably Superman, because the Batman is black, and the Batman from Mego that I remember is the blue outfit, and the one that they
Right.
have at the shop is black and gray. So it's not, to me, it doesn't bring back that memory of a kid. But the Superman looks original, you know.
The Superman looks good.
And
What
so I
about
might
this
just,
Planet of the Apes?
yeah, they have Cornelius there, which I don't have yet, but I've got Dr. Zaius. Like Dr. Zaius is sitting right over here, actually.
I
Dr.
saw him
Zaius,
today.
Dr. Zaius, Dr.
I-
Zaius.
I almost picked that one up today, but I had found all those retro Marvel figures, so I left them behind to save my my wallet a little bit.
Yeah, I got to get that new wave of retro. I love these retro figures. Spider-Man. And now I've got Spider-Man retro through the years. I've got the new retro figure. I just got the Secret Wars.
Look at that.
The Secret Wars Spider-Man I just picked up. And I've got the multi-jointed Toy Biz one.
Oh, that's
so it's
cool.
like I've now got this like retro wave of Spider-Man through the years, which is really cool.
You know what? Let me
Been
look
having
at this.
fun with these.
I found this Spider-Man like in a box, but I think it might actually be a Hasbro. I'm not sure. It's like a 6-inch scale, but it's really weird. I didn't know what these were for.
Yeah, he's got gauntlets. That's funny, huh?
And he's not super articulable, but he is semi, right? Like he would have been a Marvel Legends, but he looks kind of weird to be a Legends figure.
Yeah, he almost looks Legends from when Toy Biz was doing Marvel Legends before it went to Hasbro.
Yeah, my problem is my vision is not good enough to read. Anybody else have that problem out there?
Yeah, that's why I wear these now. And sometimes I still have to like get on the phone and take a picture and blow it up.
Okay, this is from 2009 and it says it's Hasbro.
Okay,
I just
so
used
early.
I just use
Marvel Legends.
My phone as my glasses.
One of my favorite other Toy Biz retro ones is this.
You know what? I have that
his
figure,
wings
but I don't
flap.
have the wings.
It's so cool, and they got little missiles that these things shoot off like little missiles. It's so cool.
That's actually really cool.
But he flaps. I love it. But he looks so cheese because like you have the new one, right? Like look at this. So you got this from the 90s compared to what this is in the 2000s. You know, you're like, oh,
okay.
And this is like multi-level wings. You know what I mean? There's like wings on wings and stuff. This is like so awesome.
It's a weird thing because look, here's the Marvel Legends Falcon, right?
Yeah.
And here says wings. They don't do anything. And then here's the new one. Of course, it was a build the wings, but here's the new one, and the wings are fully functional.
Wow, that's cool.
Right?
And his kind of do the same thing. They can fold all up around him and everything, you know? Yeah.
So I mean,
and he's got
do it.
I mean, this guy's got 2 sets of wings. I mean, there's these other set of wings back here too, you know, that are. So it's like they're at a lot of versus. But this, I think, was a special deluxe figure, wasn't it?
Was it?
I think he was. Yeah.
That looks awesome, actually. Those wings.
Yeah, it's really cool.
With those wings, that looks fantastic. Oh my gosh.
He's one of my favorites of the X-Men stuff, you know, and alongside like some of my other favorites are this I love this Mr. Sinister. I mean,
oh yeah.
Look at that cape.
Oh, look at that cape. That's awesome.
It's just like what, you know? And this, I want to see this live on the screen, man. Could you imagine?
Can you imagine? No.
If they did him like this in like live action, it'd just be like the freakiest thing. And
so I got a figure. Are you good at identifying figures?
I'll give it a shot. Let's do it.
All right. This guy was in a box, and I don't know who he is, but he almost looks like a Predator.
Oh, that's Death's Head 3. Death's Head 3.
Death's Head 3.
Yep. Death's Head 3. He's Marvel.
Okay.
Yeah. But there is, you are correct. There is a Predator connection to that. I think that I don't know the full story of it, but there is some kind of like he was supposed to be in the Predator comic books or something like that, and the
Okay.
design ended up getting used as a bounty hunter in the Marvel like stuff, and Death's Head was the first version, and that got killed, and there was Death's Head 2, and he got killed, and then Death's Head 3, and that's Death's Head 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is one that I would have picked up in a box with other.
Do you remember like that period where they had like Marvel Knights in the comics, and there was like these, and that like I think it actually called it Edge. There was like an Edge version of Marvel Comics Edge, where it was like edgier stories, and the art was all
I remember
weird.
They were trying to when like Dark Horse and these guys.
Yeah,
really,
like the art was all weird, and they were trying to go outside the Marvel mold. So that's when they were doing Death's Head stuff and things like that. Yeah, and
that makes sense.
And
that makes sense.
It was sort of like a bounty hunter that was kind of a mix of like Deathlock and Lobo from DC. You know what I mean? And they kind of like, yeah, and he could download his intelligence into, like, if he got destroyed, part of his intelligence I think was downloaded and went into Death's Head 2. And then I think when that got destroyed, part of it got downloaded in Death's Head 3, and so on, you know. So but he would always change the way he looked. I think Death Head 1 was the best looking one. But a lot of people
that's probably why he ended up in a box.
Yeah.
Yeah. He still looks kind of cool. It's one that I saved.
Hey David, how you doing?
David.
Yeah, and another one I really like is Omega Red. This one is so cool.
Oh yeah.
And this took me forever to find. He came and went and disappeared, and I was like, I wanted this Omega Red, never could find him on the shelf. And then all of a sudden, I think I was on one of the websites like Dorkside or Big Bad Toy Store or something, and they were like, we got like 5 of them in, and we're gonna sell them for, I think it was like $5 over retail, and I just bought them. I was like, finally, I can get them. You know?
So is this is one of the older Marvel Legends?
I would say it's maybe a year ago.
Oh, okay.
It's not that old, but yeah.
So I have this.
He had alternate tentacles. He had alternate tentacles that you could put in that are real long, you know.
I have this Thanos, but I think, is this a Marvel Select? Is that what this is?
That I think was, yeah. Wasn't that a Selects one?
Okay, yeah. I'm not 100% sure, because this is another one that came in like a box. I just know it's Thanos. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I finally got Thanos.
He's very similar to the recent one they put out, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. But I mean, for Thanos, I'll keep him.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. And I was really glad when this guy came out too, because I love Kang.
Oh yeah, Kang's cool. I haven't seen him in the store.
He should have come with his chair. I think this should have been a deluxe figure with his chair, because that time chair is like,
that's what 3D printing is for.
That's half the character, you know.
That's what somebody will say 3D printing's for.
Do you got any favorite villains or any favorite guys left that we haven't talked about?
Yeah, so part of like,
hey Sean. Sean's here.
Hey Sean, how's it going? So one of the reasons why I like do customs and stuff like that is because I want to make the figure as like I want it, right? And it's really more about like kit bashing and stuff like that. So reading comics, it was that Wolverine, and it was the Magic had a 4-part miniseries or whatever before she came back and joined the New Mutants, right? And like the way I always picture that character is in the sort of New Mutants outfit. And so
with the
this is
arm.
this is actually Rey's arm from the Force Awakens, and I just painted it silver.
Wow.
And then stuck it on this body. Now the head was kind of like hard because different size peg hole and stuff like that.
Different? Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Danny Moonstar body, And so I didn't like the way that they released the character and the outfit that they gave her. I wish
Yeah,
they
the
had given
outfit
her
is a little
more.
weird. That would be a
Yeah.
better outfit. I agree. Yeah.
So this is, out of the ones we didn't talk about, this is kind of like one of my favorite figures that I kind of kit bashed, I guess. And then talk about G.I. Joe, I guess, go back to G.I. Joe. This is actually like my favorite G.I. Joe classified.
Yeah, I
And
have him in my pile as one of my favorites too, because I love that guy. He's so cool.
well, you know how I got this guy.
Is that
Somebody sent him to somebody
is that the
sent him
one
to
I
me.
sent you? Yeah.
Yeah. But it's not just, I'm not just showing you on this show because you sent it to me, but like if you watch my review, you'll know this is like my favorite character. And so much so that like this year on my birthday, this is what my grandkids got me.
Cool.
So they got me like a retro figure.
Yeah.
Because they know that, you know, Viper is the way to go with Joe. So this is actually like my favorite. He just looks awesome all the way down
He
to
is
his backpack.
amazing. Yeah.
They did
Brilliant
a super fantastic job on this one. I think just knowing that they re-released the Scarlet and the Roadblock with different paint apps and stuff like that makes you know that they weren't happy with either version of that, right? The other figures I think from G.I. Joe that are really good are like the infantry troopers are actually good.
Oh, they are.
But,
yeah.
You know, but most of the characters to me just seem okay.
I really like the Destro too. I thought Destro. I'm actually liking the Cobra side better than the Joe side right now. Yeah,
that's the sad part about the whole thing, right? Like when you see like Destro, and he's got like this necklace, and he comes with like this different color holster or whatever, and he's got the different paint apps.
Yeah,
you know,
he looks awesome. Yeah,
yeah. The biggest surprise to me is, you know, Major Blood's like revolver actually has two things to paint. They haven't done that with like any of the other characters' weapons.
Yeah,
it's one color and that's it. The green guns and stuff, it just doesn't make any sense. But
and that's like the alternate gun sort of too, and they did it on the alternate. They painted it. Yeah.
So, but my favorite figure so far for Black Series, if we're going to talk about that, I know I'm just bouncing all over the place, is this Bo-Katan figure.
Oh yeah, I haven't opened her yet. I still got her.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like, the Mandalorian's great. I didn't like the removable helmet one because I thought the helmet was too small. But like, this figure I think is just super well done. And the paint apps on it are perfect. I've seen people repaint like the belt and stuff like that, but I didn't think it needed it. I think it looks fantastic.
I've got her down there waiting to open too.
Yeah, that one's a good one too.
Yeah.
That dress that they did for the Ventress is how they should have done that dark gray.
Yep.
So that she would have had some flexibility.
Yeah, but, absolutely.
Those are some of my newer favorites or my favorites, but I'm going to show you some of my vintage figures that are basically some of my favorite vintage figures.
Oh, I love that guy.
This is the Lone Ranger from The Legend of the Lone Ranger and his horse, Silver. Yep. And
that's so good.
So this is actually one of my favorites, and I think it's because it has the horse, right?
Yeah.
And then I still have.
I love that. Oh my gosh. I want that so bad, you know.
I mean, the horse doesn't have movable legs or anything.
No, it was just but
it's a little discolored.
So cool.
But I was so glad to get these as a kid, right? And I just wish that I, as a kid, I would have taken more care of that stuff. I don't have a sword or a shield, you know. And I got these two characters from the Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, I got the dude. I got the armor dude, the guy with the armor there, the warrior guy, and that's the only one I have.
Really? So this guy's tail is broken off, and I'm thinking I'm just gonna manufacture a tail for him, but
yeah.
But those are some of my like retro figures that I really, really would never give away. Besides, like, those are all my vintage Star Wars figures above the TV there, and those will probably never leave me.
Calabos,
yeah.
I was actually thinking of that too. I was gonna because my Star Wars collection is almost complete. There's 4 I need maybe from that last 17, including Yak Face. But but I never did anything like that. I see everybody's collections where they've got a full set in like one display case. And
this is still missing figures.
Yeah, but still, I think they look good that way, where you have everyone that you own lined up that way. But see, I was so hooked on doing sort of diorama things. I've got Jabba's palace there with the Rancor outside of the palace, like hanging out, and all the figures in there. And I've got like the cantina with outside is Luke and them, and the land speeder pulling up. So it's kind of like, and inside Han is squaring off with Greedo. So it's kind of like right before those guys walk into the cantina, you know. And then I've got, you know, my Land of the Jawas set where the Tusken Raiders are attacking Luke, and I've got a take apart C-3PO up there with his arm off, you know, like it looked like he just got bashed by a Tusken, you know. And R2's hiding in that little cave, you know, and it's like, but see, I have multiples of a lot of the figures, so I could still. I realized it the other day. I was like, wait a minute, I could keep my dioramas and probably still be able to put one of every figure. Like a couple figures might disappear from a couple dioramas, but I've got enough Lukes to where I can keep a Luke there. I've got enough Hans where Han can stay there, you know. But it's like, so I can create a one of those things and hang it on the wall. Like probably put it out in the living room, and and I was just thinking of doing that, and then because they look really nice when you do that kind of stuff. I really like seeing other people's, especially like the chocolate chip Wookiee. I think, and Marky D, I think, might have it too, where they got the one where on the glass it has the racetrack, you know, and in the back, and I think the back, isn't the back different colors, like the yellow and blue and orange squares or whatever, and I'm like, some of those just look awesome, and I'd love to do something like that. And the other side of it is, I'm thinking, like, because we have a clubhouse here. I live in a condominium community, and we have a clubhouse, and there's like 9,000 residents in my condo community. So we have a really nice clubhouse with all kinds of stuff. Like there's an entire art room, there's a ceramics room, there's sculpture rooms, there's a whole wood shop with all the like massive power tools. Like I'm talking like a freaking proper shop, you know. And it's all free for us to use. We just have to buy the materials and take a safety course with the guy who runs, you know, someone who lives here runs the place. And
I know, I get it. I understand.
Yeah. You got to take a safety course with him so he knows you're not going to chop your fingers off, you know. But it's like, why am I not taking advantage of that? I could go over there and build all the shelves I want. And, you know, they probably have ways of getting glass, and because they show like display cases that people have built and things like that in photographs all around the place. So it's like, this is what people who live here have built. You could build this stuff too, you know? And I'm like, so they've got to have they must have a way of sourcing the glass to fit something you would build, because I see that in examples they have hanging up. So I'm just thinking, like, I got to get over there, take the safety course, and start building my own shelves and my own glass cases to hang on the wall and things like that. And I could make it specific to certain figures. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like you could really
totally get it
down to the wire and stick your, you know, the 19-inch quarter scale Iron Man hot toy in a perfect case, you know, like, so it's going to be a year. Like, it's going to be a year before I have that guy paid off.
I'm going to ask you in a year, have you been to the workshop yet?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm doing the slow boat. I'm doing the slow boat payments with that. It's like $50 a month. and the figure costs like $600, so it's gonna be like a year before he's paid off. And they're gonna be like, "Oh, we forgot about you. We have to ship one to you." That's right, because you did it the long way.
So really, the big reason why I did these cases and not like a diorama is like it's space, right?
Yeah,
like, you have a lot more space than I do. I basically have been relegated to like one little room. Yeah, you know, so I got a room. So, and I've been trying to figure out how to maximize the space that I have. And there's some of the stuff is like that. I mean, not just the figures, but this furniture right here is a little bit sentimental because it was passed to me by my parents. So it's kind of one of those things. Am I ever going to get rid of it? Probably not. Is it super functional? No, it's not. But you know, for now, it looks good in the space that I have it. So I'm going to keep it. You know what I mean? It's not like it's going anywhere. Yeah. So there's a little.
No, I totally get that. Yeah.
Balance there.
And it looks like you can adjust the shelves on that anyway, though, right?
Yeah. Actually, I screwed different. I made different peg spots just because I wanted to make that shorter shelf.
So you just had to drill peg spots for it. Yeah, I get you.
Originally, this was for my Star Wars figures, but I had them all up there, but you couldn't see some of them because some of them were in the back, and that's how they ended up going up there. And I was just gonna do like park the land speeder in there or something like that, and then I decided, you know, I'm gonna pull out all my GI Joes. So even though I said this is going to go back to being Star Wars, it's still not going to be all Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
I kind of did my Black Series that way. Like it's all Star Wars till you get to a certain point. I think there's 3. Yeah, there's 3 Star Wars. Oh, and then a little bit over there because that didn't fit. Yeah, that's right. But I started with Star Wars, and it's like you know, outside Tatooine characters that were there, and then it's like Star Wars that were like in the Death Star, you know, and then it's like Empire Strikes Back characters that were on Hoth, and then it's like Empire Strikes Back other guys, you know, and then it's like Return of the Jedi, and then I go prequels, and then I have one shelf of sequel guys because I didn't bother getting too many of the sequel stuff. So
like I put all my Rogue One figures away.
I got a Rogue One shelf. That's right. Yeah.
You know, to me, it's like all the figures aren't there. So once,
we need a couple. We need some. Yeah.
You know, once they give us what Saw Gerrera and Bodhi and whatever, then maybe those figures are going to come back out and take like a more prominent place, because that is one of my favorite of the newer movies. Yeah. But I just won't. I mean, I'm not going to put them up right now. You know what I mean?
I got Krennic flanked by 5 Death Troopers, so I need to get a 6th Death Trooper for him. Now that the archive's out, I got to buy a 6th one.
Let's see.
But then, and I have also got 6 regular Shore Troopers and 3 of the Shore Trooper with the blue and the pauldron. So it's like I went Shore Trooper mad. I was like so I didn't even buy the Recard one that just came out because I was like, I've already got 6.
You already got them. Yeah.
I want to buy another one, you know. But the one I want more of is a standard regular white Stormtrooper from Star Wars. I've got 2 of the ones with the gray pauldron. I've got 2 of the ones with the Sand Trooper look, you know, with the orange pauldron, I think it is. And then I've got like 2 of the muddy looking ones, and I've got the ones that were like Han and Luke with the Stormtrooper disguise that can work. But I think like I've only got like 2 of the standard white regular Stormtroopers, and
they just re-released them too, and he's got a new body mold, and it's super articulable. That new Stormtrooper they have for that Mandalorian, not the Remnant. No, not the Remnant. They actually released one that's like clean, and he's
I don't, because I didn't find him or the Remnant one. I haven't seen either one.
He's superposable. I got one of them, and I was like, oh my gosh, if I could get like maybe like 5 more, it would be cool, because I can have them all with like Vader and stuff like that. But I did take some pictures, and I did have to throw Han and Luke in there, and just as a background, I think I threw in the remnant one, but I had him kind of like blurred out so you couldn't tell he was like the remnant or whatever.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did do this. I'm going to show one more custom. Hold on. Let me grab it.
How many Vipers did you end up finding? Because I found a second one for myself, but I never found any more after the second one. And I kept looking because I was like, I know you wanted one more, and I was like hoping I could get, because I like to have 3 of my Cobra Troopers. I got 3 of the infantry, but I only ever found 2 of the Vipers beside the one I sent you. So I guess I found 3, but I sent you one. And
that's the only one.
That's the only one. Yeah. Wow.
The only one.
I was hoping I'd run across 2 or 3 more so I could have 3 and send you another one, But
yeah, that would be cool. But
oh,
and I missed it on Pulse. They put it up.
Yeah, that too. I missed him. Yeah, I missed
out.
him. Yeah.
So I did make. I showed this before somewhere, but I did make myself.
That's awesome.
This is a Farm Boy.
I can't believe it myself. Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. Should have been somebody else.
My favorite part is when he's trying to fly and the kid is like, "You're doing it wrong." And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You got to take 3 steps." Or whatever it is, right?
Yeah. Oh boy. Do you remember when they got rid of the costume, gave it to that girl, and the whole show failed?
Yeah, that was horrible. Oh well. What are you gonna do, right? Yo, speaking of that, that's so funny because I took this comic out because I was like thinking like if we were really gonna be talking about comics, I just loved when they did stuff like this.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
And then she never ever wears the costume in the comic.
No, she doesn't. Yeah.
Right? It's like,
yeah.
Suckers.
It was clickbait back in the day. That was clickbait before the internet. Yeah. It was, and they did that a lot with the annuals and other off issues. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But that Shame of the City that I was showing you, it's buried.
I agree with this comment. You have to, if you've got those deep shelves, you've got to tier it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, because I made it so narrow, you can't do it, right? So,
yeah, on that particular shelf, yeah.
And the only reason why it's so high is because nobody ever notices in my pictures, but that little thing right there is a post office.
Oh, for what?
It's remember the old post office boxes had the little combinations where you did the letters and then you would open the little door. Well, when the post office got rid of those, people bought them, and like you could buy like the whole little box with the little door. And so what you would do is you would like insert it into like a decorative piece and have your own post office door in like a decorative piece. So that post office is like a wooden box, and inside it's like a little safe, and it's got an old post office door in there.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'll take a closer picture of it one day, but right now I got like Cad Bane leaned up against one of the pillars.
Is it just on the shelf, or is it built into the wall? Like, does it go back into your wall?
No, it's a little wooden post office. Like it would be like a little diorama kind of building. It's a little bit too small for the 6-inch, but I mean, I think it's. Let me see if I can. But it's funny because I take pictures and it's always in there, but nobody really
notices what it is. Oh wow, that's neat.
Can you see the door?
Yeah, I guess I can. Yeah.
Yes. So, well, darn it.
Misa Jar Jar Binks. Yeah.
So it's that old post office, and I take pictures, and nobody ever wonders why there's like an old
it's actually
post office.
It's kind of shaped like a little post office, even. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. It's just like a little like a piggy bank type thing that they just use the post office door, but the post offices used to have those doors, and they had numbered ones and they had like lettered ones, and they did have them on the military bases because that's what they used. So you got a combination. It was like ACG, and then you just turn the dial to the letters and then it would open.
Yeah.
But if you couldn't get in, you could just break the little glass and then reach in there and grab your mail.
That's funny.
but
I was
nobody ever
going to
says
say
anything.
PO box, but yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exact. It's a PO box. Like
Yeah.
you would go down to the post office to get your mail out of the box. Now they're all like these metal doors with like a key.
With a
But back in
key.
the day, they used to be like these little glass ones. You have a bigger one too, and then like they used to be bigger and smaller. That was like the standard size. But I
That's
think it's
neat.
kind of cool because it looks old west, right?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. Well, Vern, we're going over. We were talking about trying to do about an hour and a half, and we see what I mean. We ended up talking for an
Yeah,
hour and
it's just the
45.
way it
So
goes.
that's how it works.
All
But I
right.
want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. Thanks for
Yeah, thanks
hanging
for
out
having me.
even a little more longer than what we talked about. You guys in the chat were really cool today. That was really good stuff you guys brought up there. And
Yes.
I enjoyed going through some of your comics, man. That was cool. I love checking out comics.
It's interesting because I do like, for some reason, like I'm a bit. West Coast Avengers was one of my favorite
Yep.
lines, and here we're just going to start again. I know you're trying to wrap things up, but I loved the advertisements and stuff that you would get in the comics, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know, you get these pages that would be like, oh, melon for this. Well, this one's, here's the Twizzler. I'll just show you the Twizzler. But they used to have those pages where, right, the
Yeah.
pages where you could like mail order stuff.
Oh yeah,
And
X-ray goggles and like
yeah,
a warship or something. You get a crate
yeah,
full of army men. You know, yeah.
yeah, sure you do. But that was half the fun of like looking through a comics, is like knowing that I could order this magazine from somebody and I could be muscle bound and beat up people on the beach.
Right? Yeah. They always had that one where the guy kicked sand on your girlfriend, and you know, and
Yes.
then you were too thin to do anything, but then you got the pamphlet from the guy, and he taught you how to become a big beefy monster. And then you went back on the beach with your girlfriend, and were like kicking.
And then you were the guy kicking the sand, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate
checking
it.
in on an old work colleague. You know this guy?
I don't. RD. Are you an old work colleague?
Or do I know this person? I don't know.
I think you must.
We'll see.
We're gonna wait for the answer.
I'm gonna start wondering. RD. Who do I know? RD.
Oh,
I know
John.
I know John. Okay.
Oh, now it's a test.
Yep.
Who is it? I wouldn't know anyways, because I'm so bad with names normally that like I'd be like okay.
I'm gonna be racking my brain. RD. If RD's a clue, I'm gonna have to try figuring this out.
Oh, and had a nickname.
And I had a nickname. Uh-oh.
And the plot thickens.
Yep. I'll figure it out after the stream. I'll go, oh!
Yes.
I was a sim. Someone from Half Price Books.
It'll come to you.
It will. As soon as the stream ends, it will.
It'll be like,
But yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, RD. Yeah. I'm glad to see you again. Hope this was fun for you. And I'm sure I'll figure it out as soon as I hang up and I go, whoa. And then I'll DM you. I'll find you and DM you and be like, hey.
Sean wants to know. The surprise is killing me.
The suspense is killing me now.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, we were store inventory merchandisers, so that made SIM. So we were like sim people. Yeah.
I used to work at Target back in the day, so we used to like close up early one night a year for a team of people to come in and scan every item in the store.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So that they can compare it to what we were supposed to have, and they'd be able to tell us what our shortage was.
Wow.
Yep. Those were fun midnight shifts.
What's coming up next, Vern? You're on Salacious, 3 Men, and a Monkey Lizard.
Yeah, we're going to be on my channel this weekend.
Saturday?
Yeah, 3 o'clock Pacific, 6 o'clock East Coast, and 11 o'clock in the UK.
Yeah, 11 UK. Yeah.
I think that's right. Yeah, we do this alternating Friday Saturday thing, and on the Friday we go an hour later, and on the Saturday we go at the 3 o'clock, and it's just to work out with like everybody's work schedules and stuff like that, right?
Yep.
So
And
it's
who
gonna
do you
be
got
fun.
on this? You got someone on with you this time?
We do have somebody. It's Luke.
Oh, okay. From Hoth Luke or which Luke?
Hold on. This is how bad I am. Everybody has. I have to look at your logo to know
I saw the
who's going to be
spreadsheet.
on. Yeah, it's Reynolds Reviews. Sorry.
Oh, that Luke. Okay, yes,
Yeah,
Reynolds
yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. Cool.
This is how bad I am. See, and I always show up unprepared, and dude always wants to like have everything planned out, and Sean shows up at the last second, and Salacious is always angry that we didn't rehearse and practice. So, and I always say, well, let's wing it, but half the time, it's like. So I guess I probably need to prepare myself a little bit. You kind of caught me off guard there.
I usually just have a couple of touch points ready to go before a show, but I pretty much wing it. I don't know. It's just because when I first did my podcast, I would plan and structure the hell out of it. And I would send guests like a list of questions and try to stick to those, but it never worked. I'd be like, I sent the guy a list of questions. We had this whole thing planned, but as the conversation went, we only got to 2 of the questions and we were rambling on about other stuff like aliens and bananas or something, So it's
it always happens. That
so
way.
I just started winging it. I was like, screw it. I'm going to have 1 or 2 touch points to be like, if we need something to talk about, we'll bring this stuff up. And then otherwise you just wing it and it seems to work.
Yeah. Like, it's the same for me if I'm doing like reviews too of like figures or whatever. I'm usually just like filming it and talking as I'm going, and then I just figure out later during the editing what's getting cut. And sometimes I literally have to come back and refilm something because I'm making no sense. And then
or
it's just funny, right?
I forgot I've started to say a point and then something about the figure catches my eye and I go, oh, that's really cool, look at it, and I forget to go back to the thing I was talking about.
It was a lot of fun hanging out, John.
It was really cool. Yeah, really cool.
And thanks for everybody showing up.
We didn't answer a couple questions real quick that were on the Twitter and the post. Do you believe in aliens? Do you think aliens exist?
I don't think we're going to use that terminology anymore.
Is that what you think? Okay. Off-worlders. Do you think off-worlders exist?
That's a really tough philosophical. If you think about how vast the entire universe is, and you were to say like there's absolutely no life anywhere else but on this little planet, that's kind of like a crazy way to think about it, right? Like, exactly. It's so hard. But does life exist like we think of it? Like now, have like somewhere else in the universe, are there bipedal people walking around collecting action figures? I don't know.
Do you like bananas?
Yeah, bananas are okay, but the problem is there's these this army of quacking monkey lizards, and they are hoarding all the bananas in the world. But luckily, an entrepreneuring person has gone out and decided to register all of the monkey lizards. So eventually, that problem will be taken care of once we locate all of the monkey lizards.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I can only imagine who asked that question.
In a galaxy far, far away. I know, right? Who would that possibly be? Who could that possibly be? And you ever been haunted by a ghost or a demon?
No.
Neither have I. No, I don't think they exist. And what was the last one? Oh, ants. What are your thoughts on ants?
Like that, like the little pests?
Yeah, the little bugs, bother you at picnics,
I think they secretly have their own little world in there, run by a ant that sounds surprisingly like Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, he could. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know. Was he in the movie Ants?
I don't think so, but I don't know.
No.
It's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
seen that movie. There was two of them, wasn't there? Like ants, and then there was
Yeah.
A Bug's Life, and but which also had ants in it, right?
Yeah, the thing is with like with bugs and stuff like that, I don't tend to get too bothered by them. I really don't like those flying little the gnats that much
Oh yeah.
that hover around you, and mosquitoes I don't really care for that much.
If they bite me, I don't like them. Otherwise, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I just don't want anything biting me.
Yeah. Ants are okay, I think.
I think they do good for the environment. They break down things, except for those giant bullet ants that just bite you and hurt.
Oh my gosh, we used to have those army ants or those red ants up at my other house, and you couldn't walk around like with flip flops if you were out going to pick fruit off of a tree or something, because they would just get on you and it would just.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bad.
Wow. All right, Vern. On that note, we'll see you later. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat. Thanks a lot.
By.
Appreciate it. And we'll all be sure to watch your next appearance on Saturday.
I hope so.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.